If you have gastritis, if your stomach burns after almost every meal, if you're constantly nauseous and you can't figure out why nothing you eat seems to help, what I'm about to tell you could be the missing piece you've been searching for. Because there are 15 specific foods that are actively destroying your stomach lining right now. And number 7 is so common, so seemingly innocent, that 90% of my patients are shocked when I tell them to eliminate it immediately. And in the next 25 minutes, I'm going to reveal all 15 of these stomach destroyers, explain exactly why they're so damaging based on Harvard research, and give you better alternatives so you're not left wondering what you can actually eat. I'm Dr. Mizuki Kuroda, and over the past 28 years, I've helped thousands of patients heal their gastritis naturally. And I can tell you with absolute certainty that diet is 70% of the equation. You can take every supplement in the world, you can manage your stress perfectly, but if you're still eating foods that inflame and damage your stomach lining, you will never fully heal. Never. Your stomach is trying to regenerate itself every 3 to 5 days, but these 15 foods are sabotaging that process faster than your body can repair the damage. Before we dive into the list, you need to understand something critical about how food affects gastritis. Your stomach lining has multiple layers of protection. The most important is the mucus barrier, a thick, gel-like layer that shields your stomach cells from acid. Certain foods directly break down this protective barrier. Other foods trigger excessive acid production. Some foods cause inflammation at the cellular level. And the worst foods do all three simultaneously. When you eat these foods regularly, you're essentially pouring gasoline on a fire and wondering why it won't go out. Research from Harvard Medical School published in Gastroenterology found that dietary factors are the primary modifiable cause of chronic gastritis in Western populations. More than stress, more than medications, more than anything else you can control, what you put in your mouth determines whether your stomach heals or continues to deteriorate. So let's get into this list. I'm going to go through all 15 foods, explain the science behind why they're so damaging, and give you practical alternatives. Food number 1, alcohol. And I'm not just talking about excessive drinking. Even moderate alcohol consumption is devastating for gastritis. Here's why. Alcohol is a direct irritant to your stomach mucosa. It dissolves the protective mucus layer on contact. Studies from Johns Hopkins found that alcohol exposure causes immediate increases in gastric permeability, which means it creates microscopic holes in your stomach lining. Even one glass of wine with dinner causes measurable damage. Beyond that, alcohol increases stomach acid production while simultaneously weakening your defense mechanisms. It's a double attack. Alcohol also disrupts your gut microbiome, killing beneficial bacteria and allowing harmful bacteria like H. pylori to thrive. Research shows that people who drink regularly have 3 times the rate of severe gastritis compared to non-drinkers. And here's what nobody tells you. It doesn't matter what type of alcohol, wine, beer, liquor, they all damage your stomach. Some people think red wine is healthy because of the antioxidants. Those antioxidants don't outweigh the direct mucosal damage. If you have gastritis, alcohol needs to be 0. Not occasionally, not on special occasions, 0. There's no safe amount when your stomach is inflamed. Alternative. If you're drinking alcohol socially or to relax, find other options. Herbal teas like chamomile or ginger tea are soothing and healing. Kombucha has a slight fizz and complexity, though make sure it's low sugar. Sparkling water with a splash of pure cranberry juice. The point is, you need to completely eliminate alcohol until your stomach is fully healed. Minimum 90 days. Food number 2, coffee and all caffeinated beverages. I know this one hurts. People love their morning coffee, but caffeine is one of the most potent stimulants of gastric acid secretion. Even decaf coffee causes problems because it contains other compounds that irritate the stomach lining. Research from Stanford shows that coffee increases acid production by up to 40% within 30 minutes of consumption. If your stomach lining is already inflamed, that surge of acid causes immediate pain and further damage. Coffee also relaxes the lower esophageal sphincter, which can cause acid reflux. It increases stress hormones like cortisol, which reduce blood flow to your digestive system. And if you're drinking coffee on an empty stomach, which most people do, you're bathing inflamed tissue in acid with no food buffer. This is one of the worst things you can do for gastritis. Alternative, switch to herbal teas. Chamomile is anti-inflammatory and soothing. Ginger tea supports digestion and reduces nausea. Dandelion root tea has a slightly bitter, coffee-like flavor and actually supports liver and digestive health. If you need caffeine for energy, you have bigger problems, likely adrenal fatigue and poor sleep, which we need to address separately. But for gastritis healing, coffee has to go. Food number 3, carbonated drinks and soda. The carbonation itself is a problem, Those bubbles are carbon dioxide gas, and when they hit your stomach, they expand and create pressure. This distends your stomach, stretches the lining, and can worsen pain and reflux. But the real damage comes from what's in the soda. High fructose corn syrup or artificial sweeteners both are terrible for your gut. Sugar feeds harmful bacteria and yeast, promoting dysbiosis. It also spikes insulin and creates inflammatory compounds. The acidity of soda is off the charts. Coke has a pH of about 2.5, which is almost as acidic as stomach acid itself. You're literally drinking acid. Phosphoric acid, citric acid, these directly erode your stomach lining. Studies show that people who drink soda daily have significantly higher rates of gastritis and ulcers, and diet soda isn't better. Artificial sweeteners like aspartame and sucralose alter gut bacteria and increase inflammation. Alternative? Water. I know that sounds boring, but your stomach needs hydration without irritation. Add a slice of cucumber or a few mint leaves if you want flavor. Coconut water is naturally hydrating and contains electrolytes. Herbal iced tea, unsweetened. The goal is to hydrate without adding sugar, acid, or carbonation. Food number 4, spicy foods. This includes hot peppers, chili powder, cayenne, jalapenos, hot sauce, anything with capsaicin. Capsaicin is the compound that creates the burning sensation, and it does that by activating pain receptors. When you have gastritis, those pain receptors in your stomach lining are already hypersensitive. Adding capsaicin is like poking an open wound. It causes immediate irritation and inflammation. Some people argue that spicy foods are anti-inflammatory long-term, and there's some truth to that in healthy individuals. But when you have active gastritis, spicy foods worsen symptoms and delay healing. Studies show that capsaicin increases gastric acid secretion and can damage the mucus barrier in inflamed tissue. You might love spicy food, but your stomach doesn't, not right now. Alternative? Use herbs for flavor instead of heat. Basil, oregano, thyme, rosemary. These add complexity without irritation. Mild spices like cumin and coriander in small amounts are usually well tolerated. Focus on building flavor through cooking techniques like roasting and using healthy fats rather than relying on spice heat. Food number 5, citrus fruits and juices. Oranges, grapefruits, lemons, limes, pineapple. These are highly acidic with pH levels between 2 and 4. When you have gastritis, adding more acid to an already inflamed stomach is counterproductive. Yes, these fruits are nutritious and full of vitamin C, but the acidity outweighs the benefits during the healing phase. Orange juice is one of the worst offenders. It's concentrated acid with sugar, hitting your stomach all at once on an empty stomach. Terrible idea. Research from UCLA found that citrus consumption significantly increased symptoms in patients with gastritis and ulcers. The acid directly irritates inflamed mucosa and can slow the healing process. Even lemon water, which people think is alkalizing, is acidic in your stomach. It might be alkalizing after metabolism, but the immediate contact with your stomach lining is irritating. Alternative, eat low-acid fruits. Bananas, papayas, melons, pears, apples that are sweet, not tart. Berries in moderation, though some people find strawberries too acidic. Cooked fruits like applesauce or baked pears are even gentler. You can get vitamin C from other sources like bell peppers, which are less acidic, or take a buffered vitamin C supplement. Food number 6, tomatoes and tomato-based products. Spaghetti sauce, pizza sauce, ketchup, salsa. Tomatoes are highly acidic, with a pH around 4.3. They also contain compounds that stimulate acid production. For most people with gastritis, tomatoes are a guaranteed trigger. You eat pasta with marinara sauce, and within an hour, you're in pain. That's not a coincidence. Tomato products are often combined with other triggers, like garlic, onions, and spices, making them even worse. And concentrated forms like tomato paste or sauce are more problematic than fresh tomatoes because the acidity is intensified. Studies show that tomato-based foods are among the most commonly reported triggers for gastritis and reflux symptoms. Alternative, use alternatives for sauces. Butternut squash puree makes a creamy, slightly sweet sauce that's stomach-friendly. Pureed roasted red peppers with olive oil and herbs. Pesto made with basil, olive oil, and pine nuts, though go easy on the garlic. Cream-based sauces if you tolerate dairy, or coconut cream for a dairy-free option. You can create delicious meals without tomatoes. Food number 7, and this is the one that shocks everyone. Chocolate. Yes, chocolate. I know this is devastating news for chocolate lovers, but hear me out. Chocolate contains 3 compounds that are terrible for gastritis. First, caffeine. Dark chocolate especially has significant caffeine content. Second, theobromine, another stimulant that relaxes the lower esophageal sphincter and increases reflux. Third, high fat content, which slows digestion and keeps food in your stomach longer. But here's the real kicker. Chocolate has been shown in multiple studies to significantly reduce lower esophageal sphincter pressure, meaning it allows acid to flow back up. Research from the University of Michigan found that chocolate was one of the strongest dietary triggers for reflux and gastritis symptoms, and most chocolate products are loaded with sugar, which feeds harmful bacteria and promotes inflammation. People don't want to believe this one. They'll argue that dark chocolate is healthy, full of antioxidants. And yes, in a healthy person, moderate dark chocolate consumption has benefits. But when you have active gastritis, those antioxidants don't outweigh the negative effects. Your stomach lining is inflamed and hypersensitive. Chocolate makes it worse. Alternative: if you're craving something sweet, try carob. It's naturally sweet, caffeine-free, and much gentler on the stomach. Fresh dates or figs provide sweetness with fiber. A small amount of raw honey. Baked sweet potato with cinnamon tastes almost dessert-like. Or accept that during the healing phase, you need to minimize sweets altogether. Once your stomach heals, you can reintroduce small amounts of high-quality dark chocolate and see how you tolerate it. Food number 8. Fried foods and anything deep fried. French fries, fried chicken, donuts, onion rings. When foods are fried, especially in vegetable oils, they become extremely difficult to digest. The high fat content slows gastric emptying, meaning food sits in your stomach longer. This increases pressure and acid production. The longer food stays in your stomach, the more irritation occurs. But the bigger problem is the oils used for frying. Most restaurants use soybean oil, canola oil, or other seed oils. These oils are high in omega-6 fatty acids and become oxidized when heated to high temperatures. Oxidized oils are inflammatory and damage cellular membranes throughout your digestive tract. Studies from Harvard show that regular consumption of fried foods increases markers of systemic inflammation by over 30%. The breading on fried foods often contains gluten and additives that can worsen gut inflammation. And fried foods are usually salted heavily, which can irritate the stomach lining. Plus, they offer almost no nutritional value, just empty calories that stress your digestive system without providing building blocks for healing. Alternative: baked, steamed, or poached foods. If you want crispy texture, try baking with a light brush of olive oil or avocado oil. Air fryers can create a crispy exterior without deep frying. Roasted vegetables get caramelized and delicious without being fried. Grilled fish or chicken. The point is to get flavor and satisfaction through cooking methods that don't involve bathing food in inflammatory oils. Food number 9. Processed meats. Hot dogs, sausages, bacon, deli meats, pepperoni, salami. These are loaded with preservatives like nitrates and nitrites, high amounts of salt, and often contain fillers and additives. Nitrites can form N-nitroso compounds in your stomach, which are carcinogenic and highly inflammatory. Research from the World Health Organization classifies processed meats as Group 1 carcinogens. The high salt content in processed meats is directly irritating to inflamed stomach tissue. Salt draws water out of cells through osmosis, which can damage the mucus barrier. And the quality of meat in processed products is usually poor, high in saturated fat and low in nutrients. Many processed meats also contain gluten as a filler, adding another inflammatory component. Studies show that people who regularly consume processed meats have higher rates of gastritis, ulcers, and even stomach cancer. The combination of salt, nitrites, low-quality fat, and additives creates a perfect storm for digestive inflammation. Alternative: if you want meat, choose fresh, high-quality sources. Wild-caught fish, grass-fed beef, pastured chicken, free-range eggs. Cook them simply with herbs and healthy fats. If you want convenience, cook a batch of plain chicken breasts or ground turkey at the beginning of the week and use them in meals. You get protein without the inflammatory additives. Food number 10. Dairy products, especially full-fat and fermented varieties. Now, this one is controversial because some people tolerate dairy fine, and fermented dairy like yogurt and kefir can be beneficial for gut bacteria. But for many people with gastritis, dairy is a major trigger. Here's why. The protein in dairy, casein, can be inflammatory and difficult to digest for some people. Lactose, the sugar in dairy, can cause bloating and gas, especially if you have any degree of lactose intolerance, which is common in people with gut inflammation. Full-fat dairy like whole milk, cream, ice cream, cheese, these are high in fat, which slows digestion. Food sits in your stomach longer, increasing acid exposure and irritation. Some dairy products are also acidic. Buttermilk, sour cream, even yogurt. These have a low pH that can irritate inflamed tissue. And dairy increases mucus production in some people, which can worsen nausea and that feeling of fullness. Research is mixed on dairy and gastritis, which tells you it's individual. Some people do fine, others react badly. Alternative: if you suspect dairy is a problem, eliminate it completely for 30 days and see how you feel. Use alternatives like unsweetened almond milk, coconut milk, or oat milk. Coconut yogurt for probiotics. Nutritional yeast for a cheesy flavor. Avocado for creaminess. Many people find that removing dairy significantly reduces their gastric symptoms, while others can tolerate small amounts of fermented dairy like kefir. Food number 11. Garlic and onions, especially raw. These are part of the FODMAP family, fermentable carbohydrates that can cause digestive distress. They contain fructans, which many people can't fully digest. When these compounds reach your colon, they ferment, producing gas, bloating, and discomfort. But even before they get to your colon, raw garlic and onions can be directly irritating to an inflamed stomach. Garlic contains allicin, a sulfur compound that gives it that pungent flavor. Allicin is antimicrobial, which is great for killing pathogens, but it can also irritate sensitive stomach tissue. Raw onions have a similar effect. They're also high in natural sugars that can feed harmful bacteria if you have dysbiosis. Cooked garlic and onions are usually better tolerated because cooking breaks down some of the irritating compounds. But during acute gastritis, even cooked versions can be problematic for some people. Alternative: use garlic-infused oil, where you heat oil with garlic cloves and then remove the cloves. You get the flavor without the fructans. Use the green parts of scallions, which are lower in FODMAPs. Fresh herbs like basil, oregano, and parsley provide flavor without irritation. Ginger and turmeric add complexity and are actually anti-inflammatory. As your stomach heals, you can gradually reintroduce small amounts of cooked garlic and onion and see how you respond. Food number 12. Mint, including peppermint and spearmint. This surprises people because mint is often recommended for digestive issues. And yes, peppermint can help with bloating and IBS symptoms in the lower digestive tract. But for gastritis and reflux, mint is problematic. Mint relaxes the lower esophageal sphincter, allowing stomach acid to flow back up into your esophagus. This causes heartburn and can worsen gastritis symptoms. Studies show that peppermint oil capsules, which are enteric-coated to pass through the stomach intact, can help with lower gut issues. But drinking peppermint tea or eating mint candies directly exposes your stomach and esophagus to the relaxing effects, which is counterproductive. Alternative: use ginger tea instead. Ginger is excellent for nausea and supports healthy digestion without relaxing the esophageal sphincter. Chamomile tea is soothing and anti-inflammatory. Fennel tea can help with bloating. These provide digestive support without the downside of mint. Food number 13. Acidic condiments and dressings. Vinegar, mustard, pickles, anything with acetic acid. Vinegar has a pH around 2.5, making it highly acidic. When you have gastritis, adding vinegar-based dressings to your salad is just pouring acid on inflamed tissue. Mustard often contains vinegar plus other irritants. Pickles are cucumbers soaked in vinegar and salt, both problematic. Even balsamic vinegar, which people think is fancy and healthy, is still acidic. And most commercial salad dressings contain not just vinegar, but also sugar, preservatives, and inflammatory seed oils. It's a triple threat against your stomach. Alternative: make dressings with olive oil, lemon juice in very small amounts if tolerated, or skip the acid altogether and use olive oil with herbs. Tahini mixed with water makes a creamy dressing. Avocado blended with herbs and a little water. Hummus thinned out can work as a dressing. Get creative with non-acidic options. Food number 14. Gluten-containing grains, especially in large amounts. Wheat, barley, rye. Now, if you have celiac disease, gluten is completely off limits. But even without celiac, gluten can be problematic for gastritis. Gluten increases intestinal permeability, also known as leaky gut. This allows partially digested food particles and bacteria to pass through your gut lining into your bloodstream, triggering immune responses and inflammation. Modern wheat is also high in a compound called amylopectin A, which spikes blood sugar rapidly. These blood sugar spikes and crashes increase inflammation and stress your system. And many people have non-celiac gluten sensitivity, where gluten causes digestive symptoms without the full autoimmune response of celiac disease. Research from Harvard found that reducing gluten intake improved symptoms in a significant percentage of patients with functional digestive disorders. It's not that gluten is inherently evil, but when your gut is inflamed and hypersensitive, gluten can perpetuate that inflammation. Alternative: try gluten-free grains like white rice, quinoa, buckwheat, or millet. But honestly, during the acute healing phase, I recommend minimizing all grains. Focus on easily digestible starches like sweet potatoes, regular potatoes, and squash. These provide energy without the inflammatory potential of gluten grains. Once healed, you can test whether you tolerate gluten in small amounts. Food number 15. Artificial sweeteners and sugar alcohols. Aspartame, sucralose, saccharin, and sugar alcohols like sorbitol, xylitol, mannitol. These are found in diet sodas, sugar-free gum, protein bars, and low-calorie desserts. The problem is that these compounds alter your gut microbiome. Studies show that artificial sweeteners change the composition of gut bacteria, reducing beneficial strains and promoting harmful ones. Sugar alcohols are particularly problematic. They're not fully absorbed in your small intestine, so they travel to your colon where they ferment, causing gas, bloating, and diarrhea. But even before they get there, they can irritate the stomach lining. Some people are extremely sensitive and experience immediate nausea and cramping. Research from the Weizmann Institute found that artificial sweeteners induce glucose intolerance by altering gut bacteria. They also trigger the release of inflammatory compounds. Essentially, you're trading sugar for something that might be even worse for your gut health. Alternative, if you need sweetness, use small amounts of raw honey or pure maple syrup. These are natural, contain some beneficial compounds, and don't alter gut bacteria the way artificial sweeteners do. Better yet, reduce your reliance on sweet flavors altogether. As you heal, your taste buds will recalibrate and you'll need less sweetness to feel satisfied. Now I know what you're thinking. If I can't eat all these foods, what can I eat? That's the question everyone asks. And I get it. This list is overwhelming. But here's the perspective shift you need. This isn't forever. This is a healing phase. Most people need to strictly avoid these 15 foods for 60 to 90 days while their stomach lining repairs. After that, you can start testing foods one at a time to see what you personally tolerate. Everyone's different. Some people can reintroduce coffee after a few months with no problem. Others need to avoid it permanently. Some people can handle small amounts of tomato sauce. Others can't. The point is to create a clean baseline, allow your stomach to heal completely, and then systematically test foods to determine your personal triggers. So what should you eat during the healing phase? Focus on easily digestible, anti-inflammatory whole foods. Bone broth is your foundation, rich in collagen and gelatin that heal the gut lining. Wild-caught fish like salmon provides omega-3 fatty acids that reduce inflammation. Cooked vegetables like sweet potatoes, carrots, squash, zucchini, these are nutrient-dense and gentle. White rice is easy to digest and provides energy. Soft-cooked eggs are a great protein source. Ripe bananas and papayas support gut healing. Blueberries are packed with antioxidants. Cook everything gently. Steaming, baking, poaching. Use healthy fats like olive oil, coconut oil, and avocado. Season with herbs instead of spices. Eat smaller meals more frequently so you're never stuffing your stomach. Chew thoroughly to reduce the digestive burden. Drink room temperature or warm water, never ice cold. And give your body time. Healing doesn't happen overnight, but it does happen when you remove what's damaging and provide what's needed. Let me share a real example. I had a patient, Sarah, who came to me with severe gastritis. She'd been suffering for 3 years, tried multiple medications, nothing worked. We went through her diet in detail, and she was eating at least 10 of these 15 foods daily. Coffee every morning, tomato sauce several times a week, chocolate as a stress relief, diet soda thinking it was healthier than regular soda. She was unknowingly destroying her stomach every single day. We eliminated all 15 foods immediately. I gave her a meal plan focused on healing foods. Within 2 weeks, her pain dropped significantly. Within a month, she could eat without fear. By 3 months, her endoscopy showed dramatic improvement. We slowly reintroduced foods, and she discovered that she could tolerate small amounts of some things, but needed to permanently avoid others like coffee and chocolate. She's been symptom-free for 2 years now, just by knowing what foods work for her body and which don't. Now, I need to hear from you. Drop a comment right now and tell me, which of these 15 foods do you eat regularly? Which one shocks you the most? And have you noticed any correlation between specific foods and your symptoms? Your input helps us create better content that addresses what you're actually experiencing. We read every comment, so share your story. You might help someone else who's struggling with the same issues. If you want the complete gastritis healing protocol, including the best supplements, stress management techniques, and a full meal plan with recipes, make sure you're subscribed. We're releasing comprehensive content on natural digestive healing. This channel is becoming the resource for people who want real solutions, not just symptom management. And if this video opened your eyes, if you finally understand why your gastritis isn't improving, smash that like button. It tells YouTube to share this with more people who need it. There are millions suffering right now, eating these foods daily, wondering why nothing works. By liking and sharing, you're helping spread critical information. Here's your action plan. Today, right now, go through your kitchen. Read every label. Remove these 15 foods. Don't save them for later. Don't give them to someone else. Just get them out of your space. Then make a shopping list of healing foods. Bone broth ingredients, wild fish, sweet potatoes, rice, bananas, papayas, olive oil. Stock your kitchen with foods that support healing, not foods that cause damage. For the next 7 days, commit to completely avoiding all 15 of these foods. Keep a symptom journal. Rate your pain, nausea, and overall well-being daily on a scale of 1 to 10. After 1 week, compare your symptoms to where you started. I'm confident you'll see significant improvement. That improvement will motivate you to continue. Remember, your body wants to heal. Your stomach lining regenerates every few days, but it can't heal if you keep damaging it faster than it can repair. These 15 foods are sabotaging your healing. Remove them, give your stomach a chance to recover, and you'll be amazed at how much better you feel. You're not broken. You're not destined to suffer forever. You just need the right information and the discipline to implement it. Now you have the information. The discipline part is up to you. But I believe in you. I've seen thousands of people heal by making these exact changes. You can be next. Start today. Not tomorrow, not Monday, today. Your stomach is waiting for you to stop poisoning it and start nourishing it. Make that choice right now. Eliminate these 15 foods, focus on healing foods, and watch your body transform. You've got this. I'll see you in the next video with more gastritis healing strategies. Until then, take care of your stomach. It's the only one you've got. See you soon.